Last November, I received a letter, a real one, paper envelope, wax seal, a lawyer's return address. I was already 72, living alone in an old, creaky house. My wife had passed. My kids lived far away. All I had left was my dog Charlie, aching joints, and a habit of drinking black coffee to the sound of an old radio. I didn't expect anything unusual. Truth is, I'd long stopped expecting surprises from life. But when I opened that letter and started reading, my hands began to shake. It pulled me back to something I had buried for decades, a moment I never told anyone about, a memory that had quietly faded into the background of a long, quiet life. It was 1972. I had just come back from Vietnam. I was 20 years old, angry, confused, broken. People didn't thank us back then. They didn't welcome us home. They avoided us, like we were a disease. I took a job as a warehouse porter at the Philadelphia train station. Nobody asked questions there. I liked that. It was early morning. The fog was so thick you could barely see the tracks. Everything was quiet, cold, ghost-like. I heard a sound, like someone gasping or maybe crying. I turned a corner near the loading dock and saw him, a man, bloody, beaten, barely breathing. His face was swollen, one eye shut, his shirt torn. He tried to get up and fell. I didn't think. I just picked him up and carried him. He was whispering something. "My daughter, please." I rushed him to the station's medical room. The nurse screamed when she saw him. Then came the panic, the doctors, the gurneys. No one asked me anything. After a few hours, someone told me he'd live. That's it. I never saw him again. Never even knew his name. Life moved on. Marriage, kids, work, bills, old age. That foggy morning faded, like a dream I wasn't sure really happened. Then came the letter. It said I'd been named in someone's will, a man named James Wells. I didn't recognize the name, but I looked him up. He was a billionaire, founder of an investment firm, major philanthropist, donated millions to veterans, hospitals, cancer centers. And in his will, he left me a house by the ocean, a $100,000 account, and a handwritten note. It read, "You saved me. I never knew your name, but I searched, and I found you. None of this would have existed without you." I must have read that line 10 times before I closed my eyes and cried. I hadn't cried in years. Now I live in that house. I sit on the porch each morning with Charlie, sip my coffee, and listen to the waves. Sometimes it still feels like a dream. But the letter is real. I keep it in my drawer next to my wife's picture. And you know, I never believed in fate. I never expected a thank you. But now I know. Even when you forget the good you've done, it remembers you. It comes back. Not when you expect it, but when you need it most.